Every morning you wake up with a choice. The world offers you two paths, the path of drifting or the path of meaning. The drifter wakes, moves, eats, works, and sleeps, all without asking why. They live as though life is a series of tasks to complete, a calendar to survive, a clock to obey. They confuse motion with purpose, activity with destiny. And yet, when the years pass and the mirror reflects an older face, they wonder where their time went. But the one who chooses meaning lives differently. They do not simply wake. They rise. They do not simply work. They build. They do not simply breathe. They burn. Every act, no matter how small, becomes a thread in a greater tapestry. Every effort, no matter how ordinary, is transformed into something eternal. For them, life is not a chain of meaningless repetitions. Life is a mission, a fire, a vision unfolding. And this is a secret. Meaning is not found by accident. It is forged. It is chosen. It is demanded from life. You will not stumble upon purpose the way you stumble upon a coin in the street. You must carve it into every action with a blade of intention. Consider the stories of greatness. Thomas Edison did not find meaning by waiting for inspiration. He created meaning in every failed experiment, in every sleepless night of trial, in every broken filament. To the drifter, those failures would have been wasted time. To Edison, they were stepping stones. Each sparkless bulb was not defeat, but direction. He demanded meaning, and meaning bent to his will. Or take Abraham Lincoln. His life was scarred with setbacks, failed businesses, lost elections, personal tragedies that would have broken lesser men. Yet he looked into each setback and asked, what is the lesson here? What is the purpose hidden beneath this weight? That relentless search turned his suffering into strength, his defeats into destiny. He did not escape hardship. He infused hardship with meaning. This is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Not that the extraordinary have easier lives, but that they refuse to let any moment go to waste. They mine meaning from everything, from failure, from pain, from rejection, from repetition. To them, every second is raw material for destiny. And so I ask you, how are you living? Do you move through your days as though they are chores to endure? Or do you see them as bricks in the foundation of your vision? Do you waste the hours waiting for something big to arrive? Or do you transform every hour into something big? You must understand, purpose is not some distant prize waiting for you on a mountaintop. It is hidden in the climb itself. It is embedded in the struggle, in the sweat, in the grit of the everyday. If you cannot find meaning in the small, you will never hold it in the great. If you cannot create purpose in today's tasks, you will not suddenly awaken to it tomorrow. Walt Disney began with sketches that nobody valued, ideas rejected by countless investors. To others, they were scraps of ink on paper. To him, they were seeds of a kingdom. He infused meaning into every drawing, every attempt, every failure. And from those seeds grew castles that still inspire wonder across the earth. Purpose is not a single achievement. It is not a trophy you hold. It is the way you hold the pen, the way you lift the hammer, the way you step into every hour. Purpose is not waiting for you someday. It is begging you to wake up today. But here is the tragedy. Most never see it. They think meaning will appear when they land the perfect job, meet the perfect partner, achieve the perfect goal. And so they drift through the present, eyes fixed on a horizon, blind to the treasures at their feet. They live as if their life has not begun yet, as if purpose is somewhere else, as if they are waiting to finally start. But listen, your life has already started. The clock is already ticking. The only question is whether you will waste these moments searching for meaning far away, or whether you will seize them, claim them, and create meaning here, now, in everything you do. The janitor who cleans floors without purpose feels chained to drudgery. But the janitor who sees those floors as a stage for discipline, excellence, and contribution, he transforms labor into art. The student who studies for grades alone will soon forget what they learn. But the student who studies with the belief that knowledge is power, that learning is liberation, will carry it into eternity. The parent who changes diapers as a chore will burn out in resentment. But the parent who sees in those small acts the shaping of a life, the molding of a soul, will turn the ordinary into sacred. This is the power you must seize. The ability to infuse every moment with meaning. To look at the most mundane task and declare, This too is part of my mission. This too is fuel for my purpose. This too matters. When you live like this, everything changes. Failure no longer destroys you. It teaches you. Hardship no longer breaks you. It builds you. Routine no longer bores you. It disciplines you. Suddenly, your entire life becomes sacred ground, every act a brick in the cathedral of your destiny. And here is the truth you must burn into your soul. You do not find meaning. You create it. You do not wait for purpose. You demand it. You do not drift toward destiny. You forge it in fire, in discipline, in belief, in action. To live without meaning is to live asleep. It is to wander through existence as a shadow, breathing but not alive, moving but never arriving. The man without purpose drifts from job to job, from distraction to distraction, forever searching for something to fill the void he refuses to face. The woman without meaning clings to appearances, chasing recognition, craving approval, mistaking attention for fulfillment. They look alive, but their souls are starving. And yet, there are others, those rare few who burn with an inner fire. They are not stronger by birth, not more fortunate by chance. They are simply awake. They decided that nothing in their life would be meaningless. They decided that if life gave them a stone, they would carve it into sculpture. If life gave them fire, they would forge it into steel. If life gave them pain, they would turn it into power. This is the power of belief. The belief that everything can be fuel for your mission. The failures, the rejections, the sleepless nights, the long hours when no one is watching. All of it is meaningful when you decide it is. Henry Ford once said, "Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal." Most people see obstacles as proof that life is meaningless, as excuses to quit, as reasons to despair. But the one who has forged belief sees obstacles as teachers, as sharpeners of will, as chisels shaping the stone of destiny. Lincoln believed that even loss had purpose. Each setback in his political career, each personal tragedy that broke his heart, became fuel for empathy, wisdom, and resilience. Without his suffering, he would never have had the steel to endure the fires of leadership during the darkest hours of his nation. His belief that nothing was wasted turned wounds into weapons, grief into greatness. You must build the same belief into your soul. The belief that your life is not random, not accidental, not meaningless. The belief that there is purpose hidden in every single thing you face. Without this belief, you will crumble when life tests you. With it, you will rise, and life will test you. Do not be fooled. You will fail. You will fall. You will face rejection so sharp it cuts the air from your lungs. You will taste nights of despair, where the world seems silent and cold. But it is in those very nights that meaning is forged. The seed of greatness is buried in soil of suffering, watered with tears, fed with struggle. If you abandon belief in those moments, the seed rots. But if you cling to it, if you demand meaning even when you cannot see it, the seed breaks open and greatness begins to grow. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job for lacking creativity. They told him he had no imagination, no future. Most would have accepted that verdict and lived a small life of quiet defeat. But Disney believed. He believed in his vision when no one else did. And because of that belief, he turned rejection into an empire of wonder that still shapes childhoods around the world. Belief is not hope. Hope waits. Belief acts. Hope wishes. Belief builds. Hope says, maybe one day. Belief says, this is a day. When you live with belief, even the most ordinary moment becomes extraordinary because you choose to see it that way. And that is how you find meaning in everything you do, by refusing to label anything as wasted. The wasted hour, the wasted job, the wasted relationship. All of it can be reclaimed if you choose to believe it carries purpose. It is not the world that gives meaning to your life. It is you who gives meaning to the world. But belief alone is not enough. Belief is a spark. Clarity is a flame. For belief without clarity scatters in every direction, burning brightly but briefly, igniting passion but not purpose. To live with clarity is to aim your fire, to direct your belief toward a vision so powerful it pulls you through the darkest nights. Clarity is the compass of purpose. Without it, you will wander endlessly. With it, You cannot be stopped. Consider the great explorers who ventured into seas uncharted, continents unknown. They did not leave the safety of shore with vague wishes. They left with clarity of vision. Columbus believed in new lands across the ocean, and that clarity gave him courage to endure storms, mutiny, and fear. The Wright brothers believed in human flight, and their clarity gave them the will to crash and rebuild again and again until the sky opened. Clarity does not erase struggle, but it gives struggle meaning. Without clarity, suffering feels random. With clarity, suffering feels sacred. You know why you are enduring. You know why you are rising again. You know why you refuse to quit. And so, I ask you, what is your clarity? Do you know why you wake up in the morning? Do you know why you fight? Why you endure? Why you build? Or do you drift, hoping life will reveal its meaning to you someday? If you're drifting, stop. Life will not hand you clarity. You must seize it. You must declare it. You must write it on the walls of your mind. Carve it into the steel of your soul. Remind yourself of it every day until it becomes unshakable. Without clarity, you are a ship tossed by waves. With clarity, you are a storm that moves oceans. This is how meaning is born. Through belief that nothing is wasted, through clarity that directs every step, through vision that burns brighter than any distraction. Clarity is a compass, but vision is a destination. Without vision, you may know where you stand, but you will never know where you are going. Vision is the ability to look into the future and see what does not yet exist, to hold in your mind the image of a world reshaped by your hands. Every great life begins with a vision. Every empire, every invention, every masterpiece was once invisible until someone dared to see it. Henry Ford envisioned a world where every family could own an automobile, where transportation was no longer a luxury but a birthright. At the time, it sounded absurd. The world mocked him, doubted him, ridiculed him. But vision is not meant to be understood by the blind. It is meant to be held by the brave. And Ford's vision, held with unshakable conviction, bent reality until it became inevitable. The same is true of Walt Disney. To others, he was just a man with childish drawings. To himself, he was building kingdoms of wonder. Vision transformed ink and paper into castles that have endured long after his death. Without vision, he would have been forgotten. With vision, he became immortal. And you, what is your vision? Do you dare to imagine a life greater than the one you are living? Do you dare to picture yourself not as you are, but as you could be? Do you dare to dream so boldly that others laugh at you? For if your vision does not make others laugh, it is not bold enough. If it does not frighten you, it is not vast enough. Vision gives fire to belief and direction to clarity. It is the star by which you navigate when storms blind you, the light that pulls you forward when the world tells you to stop. Without vision, you will surrender to distraction, to comfort, to mediocrity. With vision, you will endure anything, because the image of what could be will burn so brightly in your mind that nothing can extinguish it. But vision alone is not enough. A vision without purpose is a mirage. Purpose is what ties vision to your soul. Purpose is what makes the impossible non-negotiable. Vision asks, what could be? Purpose answers, this must be. Abraham Lincoln did not simply envision a united nation. He felt it as his purpose. The weight of freedom and unity pressed on him with such force that surrender was unthinkable. Purpose carried him through despair, through assassination attempts, through the hatred of enemies and the weakness of allies. Vision guided him, but purpose anchored him. Thomas Edison did not merely envision light. He burned with the purpose of delivering it to the world. Every failure was meaningless compared to the purpose that pulled him forward. A man without purpose would have quit after the 10th failure. Edison endured thousands. Because when your purpose is strong enough, no amount of failure can break you. Purpose transforms suffering into sacrifice. Without purpose, pain is unbearable. With purpose, pain is fuel. Without purpose, failure is fatal. With purpose, failure is fertilizer. Without purpose, life is random. With purpose, life is destiny. And here's a truth you must engrave into your heart. Purpose is not something you find. It is something you decide. Too many waste their lives waiting for a purpose to appear, waiting for the world to hand them a reason to live. But purpose is not given, it is declared. It is a vow you make to yourself, a decision carved into your being. This is why I am here, and nothing will stop me. You decide your purpose, and then you live it. In every action, in every word, in every moment. Purpose does not ask for perfection. It asks for devotion. You will stumble. You will fail. You will fall short. But if you remain faithful to your purpose, every fall becomes part of your rise. And once purpose has taken root, discipline must follow. For belief sparks the fire, clarity points the way, vision sets the horizon, and purpose anchors your soul. But discipline builds the road beneath your feet. Without discipline, belief fades, clarity blurs, vision drifts, and purpose collapses. Discipline is the daily proof of your devotion. Discipline is waking up when the world still sleeps. Discipline is working when comfort tempts you. Discipline is rising again and again until the mountain yields. Look at Edison's thousands of failures. Look at Lincoln's relentless persistence. Look at Ford's endless refinement. Look at Disney's repeated rejections. Behind them all, beyond vision and purpose, stood discipline. The unglamorous, unrelenting grind of consistency. Discipline is what turns meaning from theory into reality. And when you live with discipline, everything you do becomes infused with power. Even the smallest task becomes sacred because it is tied to something greater. Washing dishes becomes training in patience. Waking early becomes training in consistency. Holding your tongue becomes training in mastery. With discipline, nothing is wasted. This is how you find meaning in everything. By believing nothing is wasted, by seeing clearly, by envisioning boldly, by declaring purpose, and by living with discipline so fierce that every act, no matter how small, becomes part of your destiny. Discipline without action is paralysis. Action is the breath of meaning, the heartbeat of purpose, the living proof that you are alive for more than survival. Too many people stop at intention. They write goals, they speak dreams, they declare visions, and then they wait. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect alignment of stars. But life does not wait. Opportunity does not knock politely. Destiny does not beg. You must act. The world remembers not those who thought, but those who acted. Leonardo da Vinci filled his notebooks with visions centuries ahead of his time, but his name endured because he brought them into form, brushstroke by brushstroke, invention by invention. Edison was not the only man thinking of electricity. He was simply the one relentless enough to act until the light was born. Action is what separates the dreamer from the builder, the talker from the doer, the visionary from the revolutionary. Without action, meaning rots. Without action, purpose fades. Without action, even the greatest vision becomes a ghost. And yet, action demands resilience. Because the moment you move, the world will resist. Every step you take will be tested. Every choice you make will be challenged. You will face failure, rejection, doubt, and fear. Action exposes you to the battlefield of reality. But resilience ensures you endure it. Resilience is not avoiding the fall. It is rising after it. It is looking at the shattered pieces of your attempt and saying, I will try again. It is facing the laughter of doubters, the sneers of critics, the silence of those you hope will support you, and pressing forward anyway. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won before becoming president. Each loss could have been the end. But resilience turned loss into training. Each defeat sharpened his clarity, toughened his spirit, deepened his conviction. And when the time came to lead a divided nation through its darkest hour, he carried the scars of those defeats as armor. Resilience is the reason Thomas Edison could endure 1,000 failures without surrender. Resilience is why Walt Disney could rebuild after bankruptcy, after rejection, after being told he lacked imagination. Resilience is why Henry Ford could face ridicule for his impossible dream until the world was forced to admit he was right. You must become resilient. You must make peace with the fact that failure is not a signal to stop, but a sign you are moving. You must see rejection not as a verdict, but as a test. You must view hardship not as cruelty, but as curriculum. Every time you rise, you harden into someone unstoppable. And yet, resilience without adaptability becomes stubbornness. The world changes. Conditions shift. Obstacles evolve. The rigid break, but the adaptable endure. To find meaning in everything, you must learn to adapt. not by abandoning your purpose, but by adjusting your path. The river does not rage against the mountain. It bends, it curves, it adapts. And because it adapts, it carves valleys, it shapes landscapes, it endures long after stone has crumbled. Be like the river. Bend when you must, but never stop flowing. Adjust your methods, but never abandon your mission. Henry Ford's assembly line was not born perfect. It was refined, adapted, reshaped over and over until it transformed industry forever. Edison's light bulb was not discovered in one attempt. It was adapted across endless experiments until the formula emerged. Lincoln's speeches were not lightning strikes of genius. They were rewritten, refined, adapted to hearts of divided people until they carried the weight of unity. Adaptability allows resilience to be effective. Without it, you will rise again only to repeat the same failure. With it, each failure becomes feedback, each setback becomes strategy, each obstacle becomes opportunity. Adaptability ensures nothing is wasted, everything is meaningful, and all roads lead to growth. And when you combine action, resilience, and adaptability, you create momentum. Momentum is an invisible force that carries you forward even when your strength feels gone. Momentum is the reason disciplined action compounds. It is the reason resilience multiplies. It is the reason adaptability transforms failure into progress. Once momentum is built, nothing can stop it. But to sustain momentum, to endure the grind, to keep finding meaning even in the hardest moments, you must embrace gratitude. Gratitude is not weakness. It is power. It is the ability to look at hardship and say, "Thank you for my strength." To look at failure and say, "Thank you for my wisdom." To look at pain and say, "Thank you for my resilience." Gratitude does not erase struggle. It transforms struggle into strength. Gratitude does not ignore suffering. It turns suffering into significance. Gratitude ensures that nothing in your life is wasted, because everything, even the darkest night, becomes material for growth. The man who practices gratitude cannot be defeated, because he refuses to call anything meaningless. The woman who practices gratitude cannot be broken, because even in the breaking, she finds purpose. Gratitude is a final seal on a meaningful life. The conviction that everything serves you if you choose to see it that way. Gratitude opens a door to the highest form of meaning, learning. Every failure, every wound, every triumph, every routine moment, all of it becomes a teacher if you are humble enough to learn. Life is not your enemy. It is your instructor. The hardships that break the ordinary are the very tools that forge the extraordinary. But most people resist this truth. They complain about their difficulties, curse their failures, resent their circumstances. And in doing so, they blind themselves to the lesson hidden within. They do not realize that pain is a book, that rejection is a classroom, that failure is a professor. And so they repeat the same mistakes, live the same cycles, suffer the same defeats. But you must not be like them. You must become a student of everything. When life wounds you, study the wound. When failure visits, dissect it. When success comes, analyze it. Ask yourself always, what is this teaching me? What must I change, refine, strengthen? In this way, nothing is wasted. Every moment becomes a step upward. Benjamin Franklin once said, "The things which hurt instruct." He knew that wisdom is not found in comfort. It is mined from difficulty. The steel of character is forged in the fire of adversity. The greatness of vision is sharpened against the stone of resistance. Every setback that feels like an ending is actually a page in the book of mastery, if you read it. And mastery is the ultimate goal. Not wealth, not applause, not recognition, mastery. To become so skilled, so disciplined, so clear in purpose that everything you touch carries weight. Mastery transforms ordinary acts into sacred rituals. Mastery elevates the smallest detail into a reflection of your greatness. Look at Leonardo da Vinci, obsessed with the stroke of a brush, the angle of a line, the flow of water, the mechanics of a bird's wing. To the untrained, these were trivialities. To Leonardo, they were portals to mastery. That obsession with detail, that relentless pursuit of excellence, is why his name echoes through centuries. Or look at Michelangelo, carving the statue of David. He once said, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. That is mastery. To see what others cannot, and to discipline yourself until it becomes reality. Mastery is not talent. It is not accident. It is a relentless application of belief, clarity, vision, purpose, discipline, action, resilience, adaptability, and gratitude, compounded over time until your life itself becomes art. And when you live with mastery, meaning is no longer something you seek. It radiates from you. Every step, every word, every act becomes infused with purpose. Even the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you work becomes a testimony. People look at you and feel it without explanation. This one is alive with meaning. But let me warn you, mastery is not the end of struggle. In fact, mastery invites greater challenges. The higher you climb, the stronger the winds. The brighter you shine, the darker the shadows that seek to extinguish you. But by the time you reach mastery, you will welcome the storm. You will understand that storms are not sent to break you, but to reveal you. This is the ultimate transformation. To no longer resist difficulty, but to embrace it. To no longer fear pain, but to use it. To no longer ask, why me, but instead declare, this too has meaning. When you reach this state, you are untouchable. The world cannot defeat you, because you refuse to see anything as defeat. Time cannot erode you, because you have tied your life to eternity. Even death itself becomes powerless, because your purpose will outlive you in the lives you touched, the work you created, the legacy you forged. This is why you must find meaning and purpose in everything you do, not because it makes life easier, but because it makes life unbreakable, not because it removes suffering, but because it transforms suffering into glory, not because it guarantees comfort, but because it guarantees significance. The masses live and die forgotten, their days consumed by distractions, their energy wasted on illusions. But the few who awaken, the few who decide to infuse every act with purpose, live forever. They become the builders of monuments, the authors of visions, the makers of futures. Their names outlive their breath. Their impact outlives their bones. And now, the choice is yours. Will you drift, or will you decide? Will you surrender to meaninglessness, or will you demand meaning from everything you touch? Will you die a shadow, or will you rise as a fire? Life is waiting. Destiny is waiting. Meaning is waiting, not in some distant future, but here, now, in this very moment. The smallest task in front of you is your opportunity. The smallest act is your training ground. The smallest choice is your battlefield. Seize it, shape it, infuse it with purpose. And when you do, you will never again ask where meaning is. You will never again wonder what purpose is, because you will have become the embodiment of it. Meaning is not hidden in grand gestures. It is hidden in the smallest moments. The way you rise from bed when an alarm rings. The way you approach a task no one will ever see. The way you hold yourself when no one is watching. Greatness is not forged on stages. It is forged in silence. It is forged in obscurity. It is forged in the private victories that no one celebrates, but that prepare you for the battles that history will remember. Do you think Edison's legacy was born in the moment the light bulb shone? No. It was born in the countless moments before that, when failure mocked him and fatigue pressed down like a stone, yet he continued. Do you think Lincoln's words of unity were formed in the speech itself? No. They were forged in the loneliness of defeat, in the sorrow of loss, in the unrelenting persistence of a man who refused to surrender. Do you think Disney's empire of wonder emerged the day a castle was built? No. It was born in rejection, in ridicule, in bankruptcy, and in the decision to rise every time life tried to break him. This is how you must live. Every action, no matter how ordinary, must be tied to the extraordinary. Every decision must be infused with purpose. Every step must echo with meaning. To the world, it may look like routine. To you, it must feel like destiny. And when you live like this, your very presence changes. People will notice it, though they may not understand it. They will feel it when you speak, when you move, when you create. You will radiate conviction. You will embody clarity. You will carry yourself with the unshakable aura of someone who knows why they are alive. This is the difference between existing and living. To exist is to breathe, to eat, to sleep, to repeat. To live is to burn, to build, to become. To exist is to count the hours. To live is to make the hours count. And the only way to truly live is to find meaning in everything you do. The truth is that life will not hand you easy days. It will hand you storms. It will hand you loss. It will hand you uncertainty. But if you have forged a discipline to see meaning in all of it, you will not be destroyed. You will not be shaken. You will rise with the storm, learn from the loss, adapt in the uncertainty. You will take what others call misfortune and transform it into your foundation. The world admires those who do this, but the world rarely understands them. When you refuse to complain, they call you strange. When you refuse to quit, they call you stubborn. When you rise after every fall, they call you obsessed. Let them. They cannot understand because they have not seen what you have seen. That meaning is everywhere. That purpose is everywhere. That life is a gift too short to waste on emptiness. You must burn this into your heart. Nothing in your life is wasted. Not the failures, not the losses, not the pain. Every wound can be turned into wisdom. Every setback can be turned into strength. Every obstacle can be turned into opportunity. The only thing that can waste your life is your refusal to see meaning. Gratitude turns suffering into fuel. Belief turns obstacles into stepping stones. Clarity turns confusion into direction. Vision turns possibility into inevitability. Purpose turns dreams into demands. Discipline turns time into legacy. Action turns thought into reality. Resilience turns defeat into defiance. Adaptability turns endings into beginnings. And learning turns the ordinary into sacred. This is the arsenal of the awakened. This is how you build a life so charged with purpose that the world itself must bow to your determination. You do not need more time. You do not need better luck. You do not need anyone's permission. You need only to decide, right now, that your life will not be wasted, that every act, every breath, every moment will be infused with purpose, that you will not drift, that you will not surrender, that you will rise again and again until your destiny is undeniable. Because the truth is this: meaning is not found. Meaning is forged. Purpose is not given. Purpose is chosen. Destiny is not discovered. Destiny is created. And it is created by you in the way you live this very moment. So rise. Rise with clarity. Rise with vision. Rise with discipline. Rise with gratitude. Rise with resilience. Rise with fire. Rise until every act of your life becomes a testimony. Rise until every word becomes an echo. Rise until your very existence burns as proof that nothing is meaningless and everything is purpose. And when you do, you will never again wonder what life is for. You will know, you will feel it, you will live it, and the world will remember you, not as one who drifted, but as one who blazed with meaning in everything they did. The fire of purpose is not gentle. It will demand of you everything you thought you could not give. It will stretch you, break you, rebuild you. It will test your limits until you discover you have none. And when you think you cannot endure, when the weight feels unbearable, that is when you must remember, this moment, too, carries meaning. This hardship, too, is sacred. The world is filled with those who run from struggle, who numb themselves with distraction, who avoid the silence where their soul speaks. But the ones who rise, the ones who leave legacies that echo beyond centuries, they did not run. They leaned into the fire. They welcomed the storm. They carried their suffering with dignity and bent it into greatness. You must become like them. You must refuse to let your life dissolve into emptiness. You must vow to yourself, nothing I face will be wasted. Nothing I endure will be meaningless. Everything I touch will become part of my purpose. Think of steel. It is not strong by nature. It becomes strong by fire. Think of the diamond. It is not born radiant. It becomes radiant by pressure. Think of the oak tree. It does not tower overnight. It grows through storms, through seasons, through years of struggle. So it is with you. You will be tested. You will be pressed. You will be burned. But if you see the meaning in it, you will emerge unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. Do you think the world owes you purpose? It does not. Do you think destiny will beg for your attention? It will not. Do you think time will wait for you to decide? It will not. The clock is ticking. Your breath is burning. Each day wasted in meaninglessness is a day you will never see again. You must decide here now in this moment that everything you do will carry weight, that no hour will be thrown away, that no task will be beneath you, that no pain will be wasted, that no obstacle will be final. You must decide to live as if your life is sacred, because it is. And when you live like this, the world itself will bend around you. Opportunities will rise from places you never expected. People will be drawn to the fire in your eyes. Doors will open because you carry yourself as someone who knows why they are alive. And even when doors close, you will carve your own. For the one who lives with meaning is unstoppable. You cannot defeat them because they turn defeat into direction. You cannot exhaust them because they see exhaustion as training. You cannot silence them because even in silence, their life speaks louder than words. This is what it means to find purpose in everything. It is not about avoiding pain, but transforming it. It is not about waiting for destiny, but creating it. It is not about drifting toward meaning, but forging it in every action, every breath, every step. And if you live this way, when your final day comes, you will not fear it. You will not look back with regret. You will not ask, what was the point? For your life itself will be the answer. Every act, every struggle, every triumph will stand as proof that you live fully, fiercely, with meaning in all things. So rise. Rise today. Rise now. Infuse this very moment with purpose. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for perfection. Take what is in front of you and make it sacred. Take what is in your hands and make it eternal. Take what is ordinary and transform it into greatness. Because the truth is simple. Life is short, but meaning makes it infinite. Life is fragile, but purpose makes it unbreakable. Life is fleeting, but destiny makes it eternal. And destiny is not waiting for you. It is waiting to be created by you. So create it, live it, become it, and let the world know, through every act of your life, that nothing is meaningless and everything is purpose. There comes a moment in every life when silence falls, when the noise of the world fades, and you are left alone with yourself. No applause, no distraction, no one to impress. Just you and the mirror of your soul. In that moment, one question will thunder through your being. Did I live with purpose? If the answer is no, the weight of regret will crush you. You will remember the hours wasted, the chances ignored, the meaning left unclaimed. You will realize that you drifted when you could have built, that you surrendered when you could have risen, that you existed when you could have lived. That is the true tragedy, not death, but a life unlived. But the answer is yes. If you chose meaning in everything, if you infuse purpose into every act, then death itself will bow to you. For your life will not end when your breath does. It will echo. It will endure. It will live on in the lives you touched, in the work you created, in the legacy you carved into time. That is immortality. Not the endless beating of a heart, but the endless beating of your impact through generations. And so, I ask you again, how will you live? Will you drift like dust, carried wherever the winds blow? Or will you rise like fire, shaping the world with your heat, your light, your presence? Look to the greats, and you will see the pattern. Edison, Ford, Lincoln, Disney, all mortal, all flawed, all tested. But they refused to waste a single hardship. They refused to call any moment meaningless. They demanded purpose from everything, and in doing so, they became more than men. They became monuments. You are no different. The same blood runs in your veins. The same fire waits in your chest. The same choice lies before you. You are not condemned to mediocrity. You are not sentenced to drift. You are capable of greatness if you choose to see meaning in all things. So rise. Rise from the bed of complacency. Rise from the grave of distraction. Rise from the chains of emptiness. Stand tall and declare, my life will not be wasted. My purpose will not be buried. My destiny will not be denied. Live as if every step matters. Because it does. Live as if every act is sacred. Because it is. Live as if your life is a message to the world. Because it will be. Let your meaning be felt in your work, in your words, in your silence, in your presence. Let it shine so brightly that even when you are gone, the world still glows from your fire. This is how to find meaning and purpose in everything you do. Not by waiting, not by hoping, but by declaring, demanding, deciding that nothing will be empty and everything will be sacred. So burn with clarity, march with discipline, build with vision, endure with resilience, adapt with strength, learn with humility, and live with gratitude. Do this, and you will not merely exist, you will become immortal. Your time is now. Your purpose is here. Your meaning is everything. Live it.